What's up, guys? Koma here, and today we are covering a hunter build. I have both the Stasis and Prismatic Variant for y'all to take advantage of, but today we are covering the Mask of Fealty. So this is the brand new hunter exotic from episode Revenant, and its exotic perk is Null Factor, Weathering Blades, hits and bounces, create a small stasis crystal, and refund a portion of melee energy. Using a Weathering Blade to shatter stasis crystals or frozen targets releases a spread of Weathering Blades. Now, as of right now, I believe this is stealth patched. I haven't seen anyone else covering that it was like patched or anything, or I think I saw another video where it was actually working. So I think they at some point they fixed it, but they never really said anything about it. So basically, this gives you the ability to actually use Weathering Blades, not to only stun overloads, but if you hit an unstop with your Weathering Blade, it'll create a stasis crystal under them and also freezing them to eventually be shattered, and then eventually enabling you to stun the unstop, which is great because it just gives these little Withering Blades a whole lot more function. First, I'm going to cover the stasis side of things, and it's pretty basic. I have the other alternative things I would say. Of course, I'm running Touch of Winter. This will be coming into big play here in a moment, but I want to talk about Grim Harvest, as in the later end game, Grim Harvest is going to be less of something you're going to run simply because, well, you're not going to be able to get your stasis shards as well as you possibly could without it. So in that case, you can always just swap to maybe, Winter Shroud if you wanted to. But for the default version, I'm always running Touch of Winter and Grim Harvest. As of right now, I'm actually running Glacier Nade, but I do know a lot of people like to run Duskfield, and if you're running Duskfield, I'm actually running either I'm running Refraction here, sorry, but you can run Durance to extend the duration of your Duskfield grenade if you so want. I'm not running it because I do like the shatter that you get from the Glacial Grenade. And you can throw your Withering Blade, again, thanks to the exotic, and shatter the crystals of the Glacier Grenade, thus sending out even more Withering Blades and more crystals. Because of doing so on Stasis, we're running Gambler's Dodge to get melees back, and we're also running Whisper of Fissures, Rending Impetus, I don't know how to pronounce that, Refraction, and Shards. So to keep it short here, Fissures is going to increase the damage and size of the shatters. Rending is going to make it easier for your primary ammo weapons to increase damage to stasis crystals and frozen targets. Impetus, or Impetus, I can't read. Whisper of Impetus, I'm going to just call it. Damaging a target with a stasis melee reloads your stowed weapons and grants you a temporary boost to weapon ready speed. This is just really useful, as I do think it's on a cooldown if I remember correctly. But because we are getting our melee back so quickly, sorry, you should be able to just easily be able to repeatedly use your Weathering Blades, thus not really needing to reload any weapon that is currently in your pocket. Whisper of Refraction, defeating slow to frozen targets grants you class ability energy. This just refunds into Gambler's Dodge and then into or next to melee. And Whisper of Shards, shattering a stasis crystal boosts your grenade recharge rate, allowing us to get our Glacier, or in most cases, some people actually running Duskfield, your Duskfield grenade back. It is worth noting that Glacier Grenade has a higher cooldown than Duskfield, because Duskfield applies slow, not just an instant freeze or shatter. So use that as you will. As for your weapons, the only weapons that I would really suggest here is the Exuve hand cannon. This role I actually have Rhyme Stealer at Desperate Measures. But in the other cases, you can actually go into the Onslaught Salvation and instead pull this gun with Rhyme Stealer Headstone, so you can make Stasis Crystals and then use Rhyme Stealer. It's worth noting that Rhyme Stealer Enhanced actually gives you 2 stacks of Frost Armor instead of 1, because you can only hold up a max of 5 on Stasis unless you're using Rhyme. Yes, you can use Rhyme, but it's only like a 12% increase or something, so it's not too necessary, but you're completely welcome to completely swap out Refraction for Rhyme if you think you need the damage resistance. If you can't get your hands on XUV, you can go ahead and do your ritual activities, and you can pick up Fair Judgment. Just as a heads up, I love this auto. It's a precision frame auto, and it rolls with Rhyme Stealer Headstone as well as the base 2 perks on it. So you're always guaranteed these 2 perks, as well as the PvP alternative of having Dynamic Sway Reduction and Onslaught. So it's an extremely good little AR, as well as having each one of the ritual activity origin traits. Now, going on to an exotic, you can always just run Wicked Implement. The downside to Wicked Implement is that, unfortunately, due to it having basically built-in overload and unstop, Anti-Barrier Scout, unfortunately, will not work with it. But nonetheless, you're also getting Stasis Shards, and if you have the Catalyst, it'll have Headstone and have Overflow thanks to the Stasis Shards. So a nice little scout if you think you can run it. The other alternatives for your secondary here is, of course, just running Sunshot if you don't think you need the Frost Armor or whatever preferred primary you want. But you can also even consider Icebreaker. I almost said Icebreaker. Icebreaker as this little replacement that goes into your special slot, or your energy, my bad. So this is the brand new, quote unquote, brand new sniper rifle from Vesper's Host. So if you're lucky enough to get it drop, shattering a stasis crystal with this sniper rifle will cause an ignition. Yes, it is noteworthy that ignitions are currently bugged. So do note that if you are using Icebreaker, do not use it on bosses. It is not worth it. The damage output is awful. And, of course, if you have the Catalyst, hitting a target that is slowed or frozen has a chance to return the round to the magazine. So, kind of has a little weird version of Mulligan. So, going on to heavies. Personal choice. If you're not running Icebreaker and say you're running something like Velocity Baton, we'll talk about it in a moment. You can run Salvation's Grip because it now has a Catalyst. I haven't finished it yet, but it gets Rhyme Stealer, which should get you plenty of stacks of Frost Armor if you need to, and the Shatters are doing a good amount of damage as well. So let's take a look at the Prismatic Variant real quick. In comparison, we are running Stylus Executioner, of course, with Gunpowder Gamble. I'm not running Winter Shroud or anything because I don't think you really need it. But Gunpowder Gamble, and I'm running Grapple because you can throw out your Gamble and then grapple to it and just have a good fun time. Withering Blade, of course, because we are running Mask of Fealty. We're running Facet of Generosity to create orbs for allies. Facet of Ruin to increase our shatter damage, and the area of effect of Solar Ignition, so that means Gunpowder Gamble's effect is being increased. Facet of Dawn, powered melee hits against targets makes us radiant, but Final Blows makes everyone nearby, including you, radiant. Facet of Protection, while surrounded by combatants, you're more resistant to incoming damage, and if you're transcendent, the effect is increased. And finally, Facet of Balance, rapidly defeating targets with light damage grants melee energy, and rapidly defeating targets with darkness damage grants you grenade energy. For literally anything here, I'm running Silence and Squall if you're running Icebreaker, and eventually in mid-November fixing the ignition damage. Silence and Squall is fine, but of course, you can always go the meta route and just do Deadfall. So, Really, it's just personal choice there. But in comparison with Prismatic Gunner, um, you do have some other options, such as Lost Signal, being able to charge up your darkness meter a bit more passively. I'm just running auto-loading one for all here. Um, so you can throw on Vorpal here if you want instead. So you can run something like that and then throw on a GL with Sunshot, and there you go. You're pretty much good. But you can also just run something like Velocity Baton and still run XUV with Headstone, and then you can run Winter Bite if you wanted to, and you could charge your Darkness meter up with your Withering Blades and your primary, and then have Velocity Baton helping your grenade out a little bit, getting your grapple back or whatever preferred grenade you have, and then charging your light side of your Prismatic. So overall, let's quickly touch this here. So here are my things, the main things that you would want here. If I quickly reset it, you're gonna want rapid impacts. That's a good one. You're going to want Healing Breeze, Crystalline Converter. If you want, you can go Wind Chill. Of course, you can have Hail the Storm. Concussive Reload is very good. Then you can select, really this is preferred here, but one with Frost works. If not, Armor of Aramis, assuming that, you know, you're taking enough damage to actually have the Freezing Burst freeze anything. Brain Freeze, and then you could run Serve the Cold if you're running Harvest, but I really don't think there's anything here besides maybe Kinetic Impacts. That's bugged, but again, go with one as Frost. Now, if you're running a raid with anybody that is running Void or Arc, you might want to be running Conductive Cosmic Crystal, because anybody who's running Arc or Void, as they are affected by Stasis, is going to be getting a damage boost. This means Curious Titans and Nova Bomb Warlocks are going to be going ape shit with the Cosmic Crystal combo with something like that you're actively running. And finally, mods, preferred Harmonic Siphon, but, you know, whatever primary you're running, swap out one of these hands on for whatever personal choice. I'm running double heavy-handed to reduce cooldown, fastball for grenade distance, preferred resistances, whatever you need. I have a single Stasis Weapons surge here. Realistically, I put whatever whatever primary weapon surge here. Try to match your heavy as best as possible. Innervation, better already. Bombers, and then powerful attraction. If you want to, you could definitely swap out a bomber for a Reaper, therefore dodging, getting a kill with a weapon, and then also spawn another orb of power. But that's completely up to you. If you also just want to straight up swap these out for outreach, that works as well. So with that said, here's some gameplay. If you guys find this guide, you know, useful or helpful at all, leave a like. Therefore, I know you guys really enjoy this type of content. And that said, I'm going to get into the gameplay, so subscribe if you're going to stick around, and I will talk to y'all in the next one. Adios.